Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now it's been a while since I updated the blog using a video, and the reason for that is because most of the changes I've made recently have been behind the scenes background changes to the architecture in particular. And these are things that basically I'm changing the code for the sake of improving the code quality to make it easier to debug or to use. And the reason this was necessary was because when I first started writing the engine, I didn't know C++ very well. I wasn't comfortable with its object-oriented syntax. So I took a lot of shortcuts just to get results out as fast as I could. So what I'd done was I allowed the camera to be directly accessed by the keys, mouse, joystick, and a few other things. And so when the camera wanted to draw something, anything might have changed it. And so this is making it harder and harder to debug, and the camera is getting more and more complex. So there was two main refactors I did. The first refactor was to separate the camera from the human interface devices. So now there's an input handler, and the mouse and the joystick and the keyboard live behind that, and there's a window device, and the renderer lives behind that, or inside of it rather. So when the game loop wants to do something, such as change the camera, here's how it goes. It first asks input handler, hey, has anything happened that you want to tell me about? And input handler checks the keys and the mouse and the joystick, and it then comes back and says, hey, yeah, can you change the camera 5 degrees to the left? It's important that it doesn't come back and say the mouse has moved. When input handler asks the different tasks what's happened, each of the individual components knows what it's supposed to do. So mouse knows, oh, if I'm updating the camera, I need to move this way, and it returns the correct information. And the joystick knows how to do it, and the keys know how to do it. All I need to do is tell input handler, can you work out for me this kind of change? And it goes away and does that, comes back and gives the change information back to the game loop, which then passes that change information on to the render handler. And when it's time for rendering, the camera knows, oh, I just need to change my position. Done. That was the first main change. The second main change was to use polymorphism on my actors. Previously, the actors were hard-coded. They still are a little bit, and I'm working on adding more flexibility for that. So that, for example, I had to write in a player actor and an enemy actor. And I could represent that enemy actor 10 times across the screen, but that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to use the same class, essentially, and just change the behavior of the class depending on what its role was. So at the moment we have here on the screen, we've got the player class, player actor, which is this one spinning around, and the enemy one, which is floating around. And this is the first steps I've done towards artificial intelligence. So I'll just go over here and have a look around. Where is it going? There it is up there. Okay. Now, the AI is, it's not working yet. I'm working on it. We're using a seek algorithm, which basically says, where do you want me to go? I'll go there as fast as I can. It's supposed to go towards the spaceship. But I have made an error somewhere in the calculations, and the Y, it's okay in one of the axes. The x-axis is lined up correctly. It flies right on top, but the y and z axis are not working properly. So I need to investigate that and find out what's going on. However, the intent is here, so that's good. Eventually, I want to be able to have more complicated artificial intelligence, but for now, I'm just going to settle with having spaceships that will appear up here, and go like that, and they'll come in and they'll have waypoints. So this one here, for example, might go, I'm going to go in here, then go like that, and go like that, and then I'm going to try and crash into the player wherever the player happens to be. Or they might just stand here and they'll spin and they'll rotate to target. Oh, I forgot the guns go that way. They'll rotate to face something and they'll shoot it. And importantly, I want them to fly realistically as well. So I don't want this kind of thing to happen or this. I want them to do this. So that means I need to get the facing of the ship and rotate them to move where they want to go. Or if the ship is here, for example, and I want to go to the right of the screen, I don't want it to do this. I actually want it to do something like this. Fly around like that, because it's what you'd expect to see. different enemies might have different flight patterns, and that's something I'll look forward to doing. Now, the last thing I'm going to touch on is what's the deal with the two-dimensional background. Look at these shots coming out. You'll see that they're actually two-dimensional. And so the background is two-dimensional as well. Now, even though this is a 3D engine, I'm using 2D background and 2D shots, and I'll be using 2D physics just so I can get something out there. Even though this engine does support 3D physics, it's fairly clunky, and I was becoming more and more bogged down in the mathematics, and I was enjoying it, but I wasn't making any speedy progress. And it's been 3 years in the engine now, don't have a game out. I thought it's really time that I get something done. So I've put the 3D maths aside for the moment. I'm going to work on 2D physics and get that working, and then make it 3D later on. So the main thing I'm working on right now, though, is the artificial intelligence. I want there to be a playable game. The last game jam I went to, the lack of artificial intelligence really meant that you couldn't have anything else in the game. It was just a fairly boring drive your car around game. And it could have been a lot better if there's other stuff happening. So I'm going to have the ability to have other stuff happening, and then we'll see where we go from there. So that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.